Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel Favors Flavor. My name is Favor. I'm so excited to see you guys today. I can't believe we're almost halfway through the year. I don't know what 2026 is going, but it needs to calm down a little. I'm here to share all the books that I've read so far this year. If you guys have caught up on my last two videos, you know I was in a really bad reading slump and I haven't read as much as I originally planned. So I really thought I could avoid not filming this video, but I was like, you know what, I still have thoughts on the books that I did read, so I'm here to share my thoughts and my ratings on the books that I completed, the ones I didn't finish, and I'm also going to share with you guys my June TBR, even though I said I'm not really doing TBR, but these are like the books that I would like to finish in June. So let's get right into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy. So for the wrap-up part of this video, I'm going to start from my most recent reads to my oldest reads, mostly because the books I read between January and March, I don't even remember most of them, and I don't remember having that much of a good time with them anyway, so I want to talk about the books that I've read most recently. So for May, I did read two books. The first one I read was A Summer for the Books by Michelle Lindo-Rice. And this is a book that I randomly found on one of the tables at Barnes & Noble. I didn't film it. It was like before I filmed my comeback video. And I honestly just picked it up because of the cover. I said that it was like, looked like black characters. It's by a black author that I've never heard of before. Okay, it's giving summer vibes. Maybe this is something that would help me, read more and get into more of the reading spirit during this time of the year. And I just want to say that I rated this book at 3 stars. It's not a bad book, but I felt like the author was trying to do too much. First of all, it's about two friends, Jules Stone and Shelby Andrews. And there's something that happens in their past that makes them break up. But now Shelby ends up in an accident and she has like amnesia. She forgets like the last 10 years and she keeps asking for a friend, even though, they had like a really bad breakup and whatever. That's basically the gist of the main characters. But the thing is, Jules Stone in the book is an author. Her first book was about their friendship and now she's having writer's block. It was very much confusing because you have Shelby and Joel, the main characters. Then you have, I think it was Sugar and Honey. Those were the characters in the book that she was writing. And then there's also the daughter and her friend. So there's like 3 sets of female friend characters to keep track of in this small book. It is not that much of a fluffy read either. Like, I guess you could take it to the beach if you want to call this one of those beach reads. But if you read the reviews on like Storygraph and Goodreads about this book, I would say most of the reviews are accurate. Like, it's not a horrible book, but if you want to pick it up, pick it up. If you don't, I don't think you'll be missing out on much. The next book I read in May was Score by Kennedy Ryan. I have a whole vlog. My last video was about Score, Kennedy Ryan, me reading it. I read it in like 2 days. I also attended the authors event in Greensboro that Kennedy Ryan had in collaboration with a black-owned bookstore in Greensboro. Please go check out that video. And if you guys haven't bought this book yet, make sure to support your indie and black-owned bookstores. I have all the links to that in my vlog talking about this. I talk about this book in so much detail, so please go check out that video. But anyway, this book is about Monk and Verity. It's the second book in the Hollywood Renaissance series. The first book is Real, that follows Canon and Neva. Monk and Verity, they're on the set of the same movie that is talked about in Real. Verity is a screenplay writer. Monk is the musician for the movie. I just want to say, the one thing I would want to adjust is my rating. I briefly talked about it in my last vlog, how I was between a 4.5 and a 5 star. I think I want to stick to a 4.5. I thought about going down to a 4.25, but I was like, nah. The book as a whole, what Kennedy Ryan did with this book was just too good for me to go down that low. But at the end of the day, I said it in that video too that I didn't really like their romance that much, Monk and Verity. I'm not someone that likes the instant romance, which is pretty much what kind of happened with them in college. And I feel like even as adults, when they came back, a good part of it was very lustful. And it took a while before, Verity ended up telling Monk about her diagnosis. I mean, the epilogue was nice and all that. that. Still a great book. I enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see what the third book is going to be about. I think it's going to be about Cannon's partner, Evans, but it's going to be a forbidden love story because the one person they've been talking about Evans liking is Lynn, the costume designer, but she's married to one of the executives. So that's something that if my guess is right, I mean, I'm going to need you guys to give me $1 next year if my guess is right. But either way, picking up a Kennedy Ryan book, you're bound to like have a good time. And you know, she does her research. Those were some of the things I talked about in the last video, and I thoroughly enjoyed this book. Like, even with all that was going on, I still read it in 2 days, and that for me, that's really good right now. So now we're gonna go on to the book that I read in April, which was the book that like helped me to start filming again, and that is Big Girl Blitz by Danielle Allen. I read this on Kindle Unlimited. I'm hoping that I can pick up the physical book soon, but this book I rated at 4.5 stars. This is my favorite book in the Curve series, and this is the third and final book. I believe the first one is Curvy Girl Summer, the second one is Plus Size Player, and this is Big Girl Blitz. This follows Jasmine. I believe her name is Jasmine. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but I rated this book 4.5 stars because this isn't a book that I was even trying to read, but I saw that it was available on Kindle Unlimited, so I was like, let me see. I ended up finishing this book in like 2 or 3 days. I was like, hold up, Danielle Allen. And this is what I say when I'm talking about the power of like a good author and authors that you know you already like to help you not fall back in a reading slump. Because right now I'm really picky about the books that I pick. This follows Jasmine and the male main character who's a football player. Also, Jasmine trying to adjust to the fact that her aunt is sick, and she ends up coming back to her town that was like that's good for nothing town. She got bullied in that town, but the only person that can make her come back is her aunt. I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, but obviously towards the end her aunt does pass away. But the whole journey to getting there, and I truly just enjoyed Danielle Allen's writing. There's much more banter in this book, you know, just like Curvy Girl Summer and Plus Size Wear. But I think the friendship aspect between Jasmine, Nina, and Aaliyah, I just enjoyed it so much, and I was just happy for Jasmine, although she did piss me off a good bit because like she just kept pushing Jamal, I think Jamal was his name, away so much. I was like, man, give this man a chance. Like he's doing everything he's supposed to do, and he still could pushing him away. But I also was like, I do the same thing sometimes too. So I was like, I can't be saying too much about Jasmine because I would, you know, do the same if I was maybe not as bad as her, but like I could see myself doing some of what she did. So now I'm just gonna rapid fire the remaining 3 books because these were 3 books for my book club. The book club was the reason I even read the first 3 months of the year. So for March, I read Soul Ties by Miss Candice. This is probably my worst book so far of the year. It has to be a tie between that and The Summer for the Books. If you guys haven't heard of Soul Ties, it has a cheating trope, and that's just something that I don't think I can ever find entertaining. I don't know how you're gonna spin it. You're gonna have to be a good writer to like spin that, but I did not really enjoy the cheating part of it. This book also made me realize that I don't like urban romance, if that's what that's called, because the main male character was someone that him and his family are in like the drugs and guns business, and I can't relate. I can't relate. And for me, reading right now, I need to like read books that I can either enjoy or relate to it somewhat. And it wasn't no part of this book that I felt like I truly enjoyed it. And you know, to each his own. If you want to be the side chick, I had to skip through some of the pages because I'm just like, we're grown adults here. Like nobody's forcing you to do anything you're doing, but you're doing it because you want to do it. I just didn't like this book. I think I still rated it at 3 stars. Don't know why. I could have easily been like a 2.5 or something, but I must have just run it up to a 3 stars. So that's Soul Ties. For February, we read The Last Man on Earth by Shae Sanders. I believe this was my pick. I rated this book at 3.5 stars. It was interesting to me, mostly because the premise of this book is one that is not common. The male main character is like a famous musician, and then the female main character is a flight attendant, and she does a lot of like concierge, like private flights and all that. Basically, the plane crashes, so and there's other people on board, but the only two survivors is her and the musician, and there's like an age gap. She's like 10 plus years older than him, and they spend like months, like I think it was like 9 months or so, like on this island before they ever get found. There's just parts about this book that I think it was innovative, but my rating might also be because of what time I read it. Either way, I do recommend this book. Even though I rated it 3.5 stars, it's a solid 3.5 stars, and you might just like it better than I did. So the last book I read and completed so far this year is Broken Clocks by Danielle Allen. This was the first like older book of Danielle Allen's that I did read, and I read this book at 3.75 stars. This is a hard book because of how it ends, but I did enjoy it, and it was definitely something that taught me about just living in the moment and just enjoying life as it is. You'll get it if you do read it. If you guys have read any of these books, please comment down below, because I feel like I'm doing a really bad job at the last 3 books that I read, but I just want to tell you guys that I read these books and my ratings and my brief thoughts on them. So now I'm gonna move on to the books that I did start but didn't finish. One of those is Leave Your Mess at Home by Tony Akino. And I promise you, it wasn't because the book was bad. I actually got an arc of this book. If you guys watched my anticipated releases, this was on there. And this is also going to be in my June TBR that I'm going to talk about later. I actually got to like 40-something% of this book, and I'm not sure why I stopped. It must have just been what I had going on where I wasn't even reading at all. But this was one of the books that I did start and didn't finish, but I will be finishing it. Another book that I did start in April, I don't even think I picked it up at all in May, was Real. My plan was to reread Real before I read Score. I think I got to like 50-something%, and I had picked up Big Girl Blitz, and it just fell by the wayside. I still will plan to finish it, so hopefully that works out. Another book that I did start and didn't finish was Only Big Bum Bum Mattress Tomorrow by Dam Larry Cuckoo. Not a bad book. It wasn't doing it for me at the time. Still have the book. I believe I have access to the audiobook on Hoopla, so I will try to finish it because it's not a big book at all. Another book that I started was Love in Color, short story collection by Bolu Babalola. Obviously, if you guys know about my thoughts on Sweet Heat, was my top 5 books last year. I haven't read Honey and Spice. I was like, okay, what else has she written? And this is a book that I'm gonna try to restart it, but there's a good chance this is like a DNF. Like, I'm not gonna like read it again. Like, it's gonna take a while for me to spin the block around to it. And then the last book I would say is Of This Our Country. It's a bunch of Nigerian writers that give stories about their time in Nigeria, and I think I got to about 25% of it. I was listening to it. I will come back to this book, but it's probably going to take a minute, because this is one of those books where they're talking about their personal experience, and I do enjoy hearing from other parts of Nigeria, because I only lived in one state, but hearing about some of the people that like lived in the northern part or the eastern part, stuff like that. It's nice having sort of like a history book, if you will. Those were all the books that I did start and didn't finish that I remember. So now we're gonna head over to my June TBR. There's only 3 books on this list so far, and I've actually read one of them. I'm gonna try my best not to say anything about it, but if you can't tell, I really enjoyed my time with this book, and I hope I can give you guys my thoughts in my June reading wrap up. The first book is Blood Over Bright Haven by M.L. Wong. This book surprised me. Okay, I'm not even supposed to be giving a review. This is on my June TBR, but I've already read this book. Look, if you can see like the spine and everything, I've read it, and I do recommend it, okay? The next book that I should be reading is Moonlight Murder by Uzma Jalaluddin, and I think I talked about this book a little bit in my last vlog, but this is the second book to The Detective Auntie. I read that book last year, and I actually enjoyed it. It's giving like cozy mystery. I still thought it was available. I didn't even realize it was getting released, but this is a library copy, and I do want to read it before it's time to like return it. I think this should be a nice, switch from fantasy. Haven't read romance before that. Romance, fantasy, mystery. So switching out the genres a little bit so I can hopefully not fall back in the reading slump. Plus, it's by an author that I've already read before, so I'm hoping that, it should be a good time. And then the last book, that's on my TBR that I basically just talked about was Leave Your Mess at Home by Tanya Canola. From the first 40% that I read, I do plan on like going back and like sort of like skimming through or rereading that first part that I've already read, because it's been like, I think it was in January when I started it. But this is a book that could deserve its own like review video. It's just that good, and as someone that's Nigerian, I relate a lot to this book, even though I'm not someone that has like siblings or understands like, you know, sibling rivalry and all that, but it's still a great book, and I would recommend most of the books that I've talked about in this video. This has been a lot of yapping and chatting from me, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you watch out for my next video. And like I said, I'm gonna try to definitely upload 2 to 3 times a month, and expect some nursing videos sprinkled in between. If you're someone that is here just for my book videos, you can always skip it. But thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a good day. Bye.